right there, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. And if you are just joining us again, this is Political Lens on Voice of the People Television. Well, we've been joined by Prince Kasim Okpebholo. He's a journalist and the State Commissioner for Information. Good evening, Commissioner, and thanks for being part of the show.
Good evening.
Very well, good to have you, sir. Good to have you. We also have...
Same here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. We also have Mr. Chris Ojekere. Mr. Ojekere is a human rights activist and political affairs analyst. Good evening to you, Mr. Ojekere, and good to see you again, sir.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
Very well, very well. Gentlemen, thanks for coming to Political Lens. We appreciate your presence. Now, let's get right into it. Governor Okpebholo of Edo State recently clocked 1 year in office, and we have the commissioner here to tell us how the governor has fulfilled on his promises to the Edo people in the last 1 year. Commissioner, sir, can you walk us through? I'd like for you to reel out the achievements of your principal in the last 1 year and how those achievements have impacted on the well-being of the good people of Edo State. Can we hear you, sir?
Yeah, good evening, my brother. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity of this discussion.
Beautiful.
We celebrated 365 days in office, November 12, 2025. And we make bold to say that the foundation we have laid for the takeoff of different aspects of our Edo development has remained very, very cheering to us. We were able to lay a proper foundation for the takeoff of our SHINE agenda, SHINE representing security, health, infrastructure, natural resources, and agri and education. The state we inherited from our predecessor in office was not cheering news. It was a state that was fragmented, a state that was driven by altercations, by divisions, and by quarrelsomeness. It was a state with infrastructural decay and rot, a state of more MOUs than the actuality of governance in the different aspects of our lives as Edo people. Now, coming on board, we needed to recover a lot of this decay, a lot of this rot, and put the state on a stronger pedestal. So we started with infrastructural development. We started recovering roads. As at the time we're marking 365 days, we had completed about 53 kilometers of roads out of the 254 that we gave out in terms of contract. And we have also recovered about 63 to 68 secondary and primary schools in the area of education. Some have not been completed, some are ongoing, but we've, appreciably, intervened to arrest the drift that we inherited. Chairs and tables have been provided in classrooms. There's now a marker board. In most cases, we also provide boreholes in those schools so that they can have water and have access to water. We have also fenced some of these schools that we have fixed, and all of these are verifiable. We are building the first flyover in Benin City at the Ramat Park. We have started the second one at Adisuwa Junction. We have built and completed 60 primary healthcare centers. We have also invested in agriculture with the Udomi farms, and we have also given land to quite a number of people who needed land to carry out agriculture, particularly plantation agriculture. We have invested so much in education, helped to arrest the drift in the State University, Ambrose Ali University. When we came on board, it was in rot. Lecturers were old salaries. The state government was giving it 41 million naira We have since taken that one to 500 million naira. The other state university, Edo State University, Uzare, the government, our predecessor was not giving any cover. Now we are paying 250 million as subvention every month. We have also been able to invest in security. We have recruited 2,500 those sons and daughters, trained them using the military, and we have deployed them to all the local governments of the state. We have also, as we speak, trying to recruit 300 persons per local government that will work in these different local governments to also complement in the area of intelligence gathering, in the area of collaboration with police and civil defense to combat incidences of insecurity. We have also bought and distributed 60 Hilux vans to the police and the civil defense. We have bought close to 400 motorcyclists to police to aid them to access areas that are quite difficult for vehicles to access in the course of combating crimes and criminalities. We have set up command structure in Edo Central. We have set up another one at Okpebholo because it's a border community, and so we try as much as possible to see how we can deepen conversations around insecurity to for us to mitigate the upsurge, because we have been witnessing quite a number of kidnapping. But thank God for our intervention, the data has reduced. Unlike when we came on board, it was quite prevalent, but now we have been able to nip it to the barest minimum. So in summary, we have laid a very good foundation for takeoff of proper governance, different from the Obubuyaya that we inherited from our predecessor, where there are quite a number of infractions, quite a number of underhand transactions. That's just by way of summary.
All right. I must say a very big thank you to you, Commissioner Okpebholo, for this rundown that you have given us on the 1 year in office of your principal, Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo. It's interesting to know, from what you reeled out, those states seem to be on a higher pedestal, like you said. It is good news. It is cheery. I passed through Benin like 2 weeks ago, and I also had a feel of what Benin has become. But we'll talk about all of that in a moment. But before we get into the specifics of it, I would like for Mr. Ojekere, Chris Ojekere, who lives in Benin City there in Edo State, to react. I would like for him to give us an assessment. Mr. Ojekere, what's your assessment of the achievements of the governor as read out by the commissioner? Do you have points of agreement, or do you want to concur with everything that he said?
Well, I just heard you say you passed through Benin a few weeks ago, and I congratulate you and I rejoice with you that you were not a victim of kidnap. I'm so happy that you are bringing in the commissioner, who is a very reputable journalist and eloquent in public discourse. And you can see the fluency and the glib way he read out, audio projects that the governor seemed to have had in his mind as his achievements in the past 365 days. The truth of the matter is that the commissioner and I hail from the same Edo North. And as I speak to you now, he would need to borrow my road to be able to access his Okpebholo. He has to pass through Onwa, and I also hope that when he's passing there now, he will not be kidnapped. Because as we speak now, first in Auchi, which is the middle town between his and mine, we had Aisha, which video went viral, who was kidnapped and put in the bush, tortured. When the girl was shown on TV, it was heart-wracking and heart-rending, the way she was crying out from the torture and pain that she was suffering in the hand of these bandits and terrorists. And then the state governor refused to do anything about that. A private NGO intervened in that matter, mobilized the people, and then freed that girl. And the private NGO went public to say They had approached the state governor and the state government to help in the release of these girls, and they had done nothing about it. Just while they were releasing Aisha, they took in Joy Ayeni from my place. As I speak to you now, we don't know what has happened to Joy Ayeni. We just knew when she was captured and kidnapped. Nothing has been done. No statement has been made by the state government. There's a viral video just now. It came out just a couple of hours ago. I think yesterday. It came out yesterday, of a couple. The woman is pregnant, kidnapped also from a donor, precisely a place we call Aviele. Just about 5 or 6 kilometers away from Auchi. They are in the den right now. 2 AK-47 are dangling in their heads. And the husband is crying out to Edo people and saying, my wife is pregnant. Please, they need, I think they were able to get 7 million. I think they need another 7 million. That's just for security. The previous government had left a command and control center in Ogida, where you could have a perfect surveillance of entire Benin City and most of the roads on our highways. We had set up a security architecture that was almost second to none. The governor himself is from Okwesan, from Ishaland, and Okwesan, a village in Ishaland. The head of the vigilante, a couple of weeks ago, was kidnapped. So Edo is totally insecure. Hardly do people move, commute from one city to another, whether in Edo Central, where the governor comes from, or especially Edo North, where I come from, and Edo South. So I don't know where the whole idea of security came from. If we have all of this equipment and vehicles that Prince Afegba has read out, then they must still be housed in government house. And then let's come back to the economy. He says that the economy is growing and that the governor is investing in farming, because a few days ago we saw some tractors, refurbished of course. You don't need to go close to them before you know that they were refurbished tractors, which the governor showed on television to pretend that he has any economic clue for agriculture. But here you have Presco, a multi-billion naira investment in Edo State, which preceded even the previous administration and this one. One of the 2 oil palm companies quoted in the stock exchange. The governor has been at loggerhead with that company, and the governor went and revoked their CFO. Now, after hue and cry from Edo people and backlash from civil society and everyone, the governor is just now denying and is trending in Edo State that he didn't revoke that land, and heads are rolling. Innocent people are being sacked from their jobs. Presco employs 2,000 people and directly and about 5,000 indirect jobs, and takes care of kilometers of communities around them. What the governor does is that it is trying to destroy the economy that it made.
Okay.
Now, and that is not surprising. Please ask the commissioner if they read the handover note of the previous administration. The previous administration had set up an unprecedented transition committee and asked the opposition, that is the APC that were incoming, to set up a committee. They both set up committees. We had everything the governor had done in soft copy. When they came to have only, they had to have only the first meeting. I remember then that the former deputy governor, right, Honorable, Pius Odubu, had commended what they saw, on the online copy. Now, because they wanted to set a situation where they would come up with excuses later, because the agenda that the governor was bringing was the agenda of vendetta. And they wanted to create an alibi for such vendetta of destroying whatever the governor had done in the previous time. They refused to attend any other meeting, and they refused to be shown or be briefed about what the previous governor has done. So if you didn't read the transition committee copy,
all right,
if you didn't concede, so to speak, because you didn't take inventory of what has been done, how do you know what has been done and what hasn't been done? Now, if we come to the area of education, which he also referred to, talking about fencing schools and
Mr. Jekere, I'd like for you to hold on to your line of thought, so that because we are going to take these things in the specifics. I wanted to start with insecurity or security, as the case may be. I would like to bring back Prince Afebua into this conversation. Now, Prince, on the issue of insecurity now, Mr. Jekre just reeled out, 2 cases of kidnaps. And there is one, I got information that a boss from Ovia West local government area traveling to Uheli has been kidnapped in the past 8 hours or more. Are you aware of that information? What has the government done to rescue the kidnapped victims? What is the arrangement at the moment, to ensure that those people are brought out from the kidnappers then? Are you aware of that incident, by the way?
Let me first and foremost remind all of us that security intervention and issues are not subject of television debate when it has to do with kidnapping. And you don't expect us to begin to unfold in the public the efforts that are being put in place to geolocate incidences of kidnap with a view to rescuing the victims. And I say this with particular reference to the case of Aisha. The moment you make kidnapping to be a statecraft, it will now become a profession, the end of which you might not know. So I don't expect Ojekere to wanting the government to begin on television to be telling the efforts we made to rescue Aisha. The moment you start involving government in even payment of ransom, then you'll be grooming a Frankenstein disease that will consume the state, nay, Nigeria. So what I would rather remind him is the fact that we have invested in security, and each time there are incidences of kidnap, we make very bold steps to rescuing the victims. And we have litany of, cases to cite with respect to this.
Okay, but Commissioner, I'm sorry, I hate to butt in at this moment. I hate to butt in. You continue, I hate to butt in. You said something about anytime there is a kidnap, the government has its own strategy, which shouldn't be in the public domain. I agree with you, based on intelligence, security, risk, and all of that. But are there efforts by the government to ensure that these kidnappings don't even happen? Is the government being proactive to stop those kidnappings from happening? What efforts has the government done, to ensure that, look, the cases of kidnapping becomes a thing of the past? Are there strategies on ground?
See now, what you need in combating insecurity, whether kidnapping, crimes, and criminality, is a deliberate and conscious effort to intervene by providing the necessary logistics to help police, civil defense, DSS, to move around the state and respond to incidences. That's why I told you in specific terms that despite the fact that previous governments were unable to even procure brand new vehicles to help police and DSS and civil defense, we were able to procure 60 pieces of Hilux van vehicles delivered in public glare. Some people may choose to be blind to that, no problem. We have also bought vehicles over 300, nearing 400 numbers that we publicly gave. We didn't hide in giving them. Pictures don't lie, and we are not like the previous government that we pretend that they did something. He was reeling out incidences of kidnapping. The chairman of his party, Tony Azegbemi, was kidnapped right under their nose when Obaseki presided over the state. Aside from that, my own cousin, first cousin, Suleiman Afegba, former chairman, the chairman of my local government, Esako East Local, was killed in a gruesome manner under Governor Obaseki when he was coming to Benin. My uncle, who was also kidnapped, died 7 days later. So when you are talking about kidnapping, I have been a victim, and it is not a thing that is cheering news to anyone. But to say that presently we have not made deliberate attempt to nip in the bud is to miss the point altogether. And what I'm telling you is verifiable. The issues are verifiable. He mentioned quite a number of things and said they are audio. I think that word audio resonated perfectly under Obaseki administration. And I'm surprised that if Obaseki and Ojekere have done so much under the PDP arrangement in Edo, I wonder why he had to readjust his political affiliation to become a member of the ADC as we speak.
All right. Commissioner, Commissioner, we have a lot of grounds to cover. We have a lot of grounds to cover. I don't want us to talk about personal political interests and all of that. I want us to talk about Edo State. I want us to discuss Edo State. Now, I had a guest on this show a few days ago, and I asked him about Edo State. And he told me, look, there is very serious issue of headers menace, farmer header clashes, like we call them, in Edo State. Commissioner, what are the proactive actions the government has done? Because it also impacts negatively on agriculture. And you said that the governor has done a lot in the area of agriculture, farms, and all of that. But if we continue to have farmer header clashes, do you think that the efforts of the government will build up the economy? So what efforts is the government making in collaboration with security agencies to make sure that the issue of farmer header menace is brought to an end in Edo State? I hear that I have farmer friends. One of our guest analysts is a farmer. He says he can't go to farm again. What are the issues there in Edo State?
Allow me to respond because your question is becoming more like discussion.
Okay.
You will have asked your guest where in particular did you have farmers herders clash. What I know happens are pockets of kidnapping here and there. That has become an existential challenge to us, both as a country and as a state. But to say that we are not making deliberate and conscious effort to nip it in the bud is to miss the narration altogether.
No, Commissioner, nobody has said that. I just asked a question.
No, let me learn. We don't have incidences of herders clashes for a very long time.
Okay.
Since we took over government.
But in Edo State, are people going to farm freely? People in Edo State, are they going to farm freely?
People go to farm. I have relations that go to farm.
Okay.
Because we have Edo Security Corps personnel who are into bush combing. They comb the forest, they go into the forest, they comb, they also make arrests. Several of them. We are making a lot of inroads into nipping this crisis in the bud. That cannot be taken away from us. If you don't want to patronize us, it's a different thing. But to come to tell bogus lies is missing the point altogether.
No, excuse me, Commissioner. I didn't get your point.
We may not have provided all the answers.
Who is telling the bogus lies? I'm sorry, Commissioner. Who is telling the bogus lies, please? I want us to be clear on. We are on a national television. Who is telling the bogus lies?
You have a guest there now.
Okay.
He said we are doing audio projects.
Okay.
Because it was popular with them, but our own is verifiable. You can see the schools we have recovered. They can see it. They can feel it. So the money we are paid to Abu Salih, the arrears of salaries that we paid over 14 months is all known. You can go to the university and make inquiries. They will tell you. He can't deny the fact that Abu Salih was being paid 41 million naira subvention monthly, which we have taken to 500 million naira monthly.
Okay.
You can't deny that Edo University was being paid zero allocation, but we have introduced 250 million monthly. Okay. So, and we are sustaining all of this. You can't deny the fact that we have fixed quite a number of schools, supplied them with chairs and tables at a time that they told us that Edo Best has repositioned education in Edo State. They were paying Edo Best consultant 160 million naira from 2018 to 2024 before they left, and yet we had schools without roof, leaking roof, schools without tables and chairs, Teachers inadequate. We only recruited 5,000 teachers recently, the ones we placed on casuals for 3 years. We recruited them. We have also injected new blood into the Edo civil service. That is not in doubt. So if they ran Edo using consultants and setting up about 41 agencies in that process, I would decide to use our civil service.
Okay, all right. Commissioner, I'm afraid we have a lot of grounds to cover, and so let's manage our time.
You are saying you have a lot of ground, but I needed to explain. Edo line transport.
We are still talking about insecurity. We'll come into business.
100 buses to start a new Edo line.
Okay, we'll come into business. Commissioner, we'll come into business. Let's save time. Before we leave insecurity, I would like for you to tell our audience what happened to the command situation room that was named after Solomon Arese. I understand that it's been shut down. Is that true?
The command center that was set up was not handed over to us. Okay. It's the police that is using it. We are not security experts now.
Okay.
Police will naturally use it if it is meaningful to them. That has nothing to do with us.
So it wasn't a Edo State government effort.
Listen to me now, Oga. When they opened it, they handed it over to police. Okay. Go and ask police whether they are using it, whether it is usable. It is not for us. It is not for me to be telling you that it's commercial. I'm not a policeman. Okay. I'm not listening. All those kinds of boo-boo things that they make so much noise about. At the end of the day, when it comes to usage, they would naturally develop some phlegmatic.
Okay, so Commissioner, presently you don't know what is happening at the command center now. That's what you are saying.
Police officer, police will know better.
Okay, police will know better. Now let's talk about the economy. We'll get into the roads because I also have an experience, and I would like to ask questions about the road infrastructure in Edo State. What's happening to the Osiomo power plant? I understand that the government is having issues with it. I would like for you to clear the air on that. The Osiomo power plant.
Osiomo power plant.
Okay.
It's an individual private company.
Okay.
We came on board. An asset verification exercise was set up, for which I was a member. We invited them to speak to us because of the information we have that Edo State government contributed to Osiomo power plant. And the man denied that there was no cover of Edo State government, but that they dedicated 33 kVA to government institutions and this thing. Out of this 33 kVA, they also connected University of Benin Teaching Hospital, OT Hotel, and quite a number of hotels that were connected to it. And at the end of the day, the state government was paying about 189 million every month to Osiomo in the name of consumption. And so when we came and said, if UBTS is connecting to Osiomo, OT is connecting, who collects the money? Osiomo said, yeah, they paid directly to them. Yet you are still charging us about 189. That's too bogus. So the governor said, if you can negotiate downwards, we'll patronize you. Otherwise, please call BEDC. Let's discuss with them. If they can reduce the amount of money they'll be charging per wattage, then we'll be able to compare. It's all about competition, and that is the beauty of both private sector driven and public sector driven platforms. So we got a good deal from the BEDC. And also, we install solar energy in government house and some other government institutions. And that's what happened. But then later, the Chinese company that originally owned Osiomo started complaining that they were not being paid dividends. And for that reason, since the man has not been paid them, that they wanted to take over their company. That is the last I heard about Osiomo.
Okay, now you have cleared that point. I appreciate that very well. Now, before we get into the road infrastructure in Edo State, I'd like for Chris Ojekere I'd like for you to react to some of the comments made by the assertions made by the commissioners. Talk about the command center and the issue of Osiomo. You wanted to delve into business, and I stopped, but now we can talk on business. What's your take on the position of the commissioner and what they have done and what they are doing in Edo State?
It's frankness that they have no idea of the assets of Edo State. I mean, he doesn't even know anything about the command center, and he says it's not for We
I
are very
didn't
happy
know.
that
The usage of command center is for the police.
Excuse me, Commissioner. Let him land.
No, he shouldn't misquote me. He shouldn't misquote me.
No,
The
no,
usage
you have your time. You
of
have
the
your time for
command-
rebuttal, please.
Oh,
Okay, so the command center was set up by the Edo State government, it was publicized, and it started to function and was delivering results before they came on board. And it was one of those, investments and assets of the previous administration that was going to be handed over to them. As I said, they refused to participate in that transition committee after attending meeting just once. Now, he came out to tell you how the government is throwing money around, not having any sense of productivity, economy, and finance generation and funds generation. The government is just giving money to institutions. It's giving money to Okpama, it's giving money to Iyamgo, it is buying vehicles nobody sees on the street. The vehicles are not functional, it's not doing any job. They seem to have forgotten that the primary purpose of government is to provide welfare and security. And so if you have named so many number of vehicles that are supposed to be dedicated to purposes of maybe security, agriculture, and we are not seeing the vehicles securing our people, then you can your guess is as good as mine where those vehicles are ended. Perhaps the bulletproof car that was bought for the APC chairman, was actually meant for security. The APC chairman is driving a bulletproof car now bought by the governor. Another APC chieftain, I don't want to name here, is driving a bulletproof jeep bought by the governor. The local government's imposed chairman in Edo State are all driving SUVs bought by the governor. So this is a governor that does not understand anything about creative economy. What they do is to receive subvention. And you remember that the subvention that they are now receiving from Abuja is triple the amount the previous government was receiving.
Okay.
And what
all right. Mr. Jekere, unfortunately, we're out of time, so we have to manage the little time that we have and take few questions. I'd like for us to talk about infrastructure. Commissioner, I passed through Benin like 2 weeks ago, and when we got to, I used the roads. When we got to the bypass, we were warned, by vehicles coming on the reverse side not to approach the bypass because it was blocked. So we had to pass through Benin City. And when we got to Ramat Junction, where the governor is graciously constructing a flyover, we were trapped there for like 3 hours, 3 solid hours. I was traveling to Onitsha. And I asked, bypass is blocked, Ramat is blocked. Why is it that the governor, why couldn't your administration make sure that one of those free ways into and out of Benin City or Edo State will be free at some point? Why both of them blocked at the same time? Commissioner, can you hear me, sir? Hello, Commissioner, can you hear me, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. When we have turned Edo State to a construction site,
okay,
that is exactly what you're likely to observe, because the bypass you are talking about is presently being worked on. Go there daily, you see activities going on. The naturally a traffic gridlock area, reason why it was auspicious for us to introduce flyover. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Commissioner. Go ahead.
Okay. So now, by the time we deliver on these projects, you have free flow of traffic. Let me quickly correct the impression being created by Ujekere with respect to transition committee. I was a member of the transition committee, and we attended meetings not once, not twice, with the state government, the transition of their own transition committee. But at each occasion, when they are doing presentation, they were boring us with literatures of inanities and bestialities that existed under their rulership. And each time we raise questions, they will present a very glowing picture of Edo, the same Edo that we were sitting in, that we drive around to see how terrible the road infrastructure have been in Benin, and to see the kind of decay in schools and hospitals. And so we will now begin to ask ourselves the question, You are giving us all this thematic focus, and all of that. We want to see practicality, things that have been done. You cannot be setting up consultancy agencies, 41 of them, to run Edo State as if we do not have civil service. To the point that even the chairman of their own procurement board wrote in the report that was handed over to us that contracts were being awarded without respect for due process. We interrogated about 62 contractors, road contractors under that government.
Okay.
And we concluded with verifiable facts and figures that they were owing 187 billion naira to contractors that was bequeathed to us.
All right, Commissioner, unfortunately,
on 705 billion.
Unfortunately, we are out of time. I would like for you to use 30 seconds, 1 minute, and tell the good people of Edo State what to expect in the coming years. At least your administration has 3 more years. What should Edo people expect?
We have set the right foundation for takeoff of proper governance, different from the Obubu Yaya that we inherited, all noise and no sparkle. And we are telling the people that they can see for themselves on a daily basis what we are doing. We try to start the overhead bridge in Adesuwa, and the same opposition was telling us, why are you doing overhead bridge? Go and fix GRA roads. Where GRA roads gone bad just yesterday, they didn't go back. The previous government left government just 12 months ago. We inherited a state in decay, in rot. And that's why we are saying that, for God's sake, you can be a technocrat, but please come to equity with clean hands. Okay. Be able to show us what you have with your legacy projects. You cannot deny Osomole the fact that he did so much when he ran 8 years in office. We can point at legacy projects, but not so for the last 8 years.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Commissioner.
We are happy that the people are and they are seeing the interventions we are making in the critical sectors of the Edo economy.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Ojekere, your concluding thoughts, sir. What Edo State people, what should they expect from their government in the next 3 years? 1 minute, sir. Hello, Mr. Ojekere, can you hear me? You need to unmute your mic so that we can get your audio feed. Hello, Mr. Ojekere, can you hear me? I need for you to unmute your mic so that we can get your audio feed.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, sir. 1 minute.
I would like to tell my brother, Prince Kazim Afebwa, to use his experience to please teach the governor why he was elected. That the reason why he was elected was to provide welfare and security for Edo people, not to be seen in the news fighting the legacies that have been led by the previous administration. He's fighting MOA, he's fighting Presco, he was against the education hub that was set up at the Yaro. He's quarreling about the specialist hospital and the Stella Obasanjo hospital. He's everywhere. He has destroyed the technology set up to run the civil service. The insurance scheme set up by the last administration is no longer working. All he's doing is fighting. The 5,000 people he employed were people in training, teachers in training by the previous administration. He hasn't employed one of his own. He hasn't built any infrastructure. He's spending his entire life building, flyover, as if that itself translates to productive.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ojekere, unfortunately, this is where we have to end this conversation. It's been a very robust conversation, and I must say a very big thank you to you, gentlemen, and I hope that we can do this some other time, probably quarterly as time permits. Well, I've been speaking to with Prince Kasim Afebwa. He's the Edo State Commissioner for Information, presently Substantive Commissioner for Information. And Mr. Chris Ojekere, a human rights activist and political affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate your presence on Political Lens.
God will forgive him.
All right. Now, on behalf of the backroom staff, talking about the technical director, bus manager, the sound engineer, and the ingest manager, I'm Chukwu Makoro. Up next is Issues with Nena and Dimjoto. Please do join us again. I'll see you tomorrow in the morning, 8 o'clock on the morning show. Bye for now and enjoy the rest of your evening.